What's up, guys? Eliaz here.
And Cole, the co-host of the InspoCast, where we bring future fitness superstars straight to your ear. And before we get into our awesome guests for today, we want to let you know about all of our awesome guests and how you can hear about all of the awesome guests that we've had on here. So tell them where they can find us.
Make sure you guys follow us on TikTok and Instagram. That's inspo._cast. And make sure you guys go check us out on YouTube and Spotify. And we're going to be also expanding to other platforms.
On top of that, also check out InspoCast.com, which is our website. That is going to feature all of our social media links. It has a calendar with every single guest that we've had on there, description, and it will take you straight to the video. But that is all we got for shameless plugs. Without further ado, let's get into our guest for today.
In episode 16 of the podcast, we have Ashley.
Ashley, 29, aka our first female guest on the podcast, is a social media influencer out of Virginia Beach. We talk a lot about the mindset of females in the gym. You know, she gives a lot of advice on confidence and her journey throughout her fitness.
Without further ado, let's get into the episode.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we are live. Let's go. Episode 16 of the InspoCast today. And we are joined by none other than, who are we joined by today?
I already forgot the last name.
So what is your last name again?
DelCastillo.
Ashley DelCastillo. I can't even say it right.
Yeah, it's Spanish.
Oh my gosh, shout out. Whoa, apologies. Gosh, we are terrible at introductions. But welcome to the podcast. No, seriously, thank you for coming on. I know it's kind of a funny story about how you actually came on the podcast. I know it had something to do with, I think Elias commented on one of your posts, and then it kind of just turned into hey, you want to come on the podcast? And you're like, yeah, for sure. So no, thank you for coming on the podcast. And actually, hey, this is the first female guest that we've had on the podcast as well. So it's an honor to have you as our first female guest on the podcast. I will say that first and foremost.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes. And holy crap, you're a stud. I was talking before the podcast. I had been watching some of your content, and for those that have not seen, we're gonna leave all of her links down below in the description. But I mean, what are you at on TikTok right now, follower wise?
91,000, 91 point something.
My gosh, it's not about the followers, and we make sure it's not, but the following that you have amassed is actually insane. I don't know too much about the story, but I've seen your content, and you go so freaking hard in the gym. It's actually insane. You were saying, how much do you deadlift?
300. I've only done that once, though.
Oh my gosh. Okay, regardless, that's still 300 pounds. That's insane. But no, I was going to say, welcome to the podcast, by the way. And, we want to give you a platform at the start to kind of just introduce yourself. Even where you're from, and obviously considering this is revolved around fitness, where did your fitness story originate, or who were you before fitness, and kind of how'd you get into it, and then how did things kind of transform into what they are now?
Well, I'm from Virginia Beach. I've always been athletic. I ran track. I did cheerleading. Typical life. I didn't really get into weightlifting, honestly, not hardcore until probably September, maybe. But I've always been going to the gym, especially since I've lived in Virginia Beach since 2019. And I've always worked out since I've moved here. But I used to be a Planet Fitness goer and a treadmill walker and a legs every day. And then I think I kind of just woke up one day in September and was I don't want to train to be skinny anymore. I want to train to be strong. So started going heavy, progressed pretty quickly. My very first time actually deadlifting was February of this year.
Damn.
And, yeah, I think honestly I have good genetics. I can bench 155 pounds, and that's that happened overnight almost. There was last month I PR'd every week.
Damn.
So I think I just have good genetics. But I trained pretty hard, and I got into I consider myself a power builder now. Yeah, and then TikTok kind of just randomly started blowing up a little bit, and now I'm sponsored by Be Able. which is a clothing line for women.
It's a sick clothing line too. I actually checked it out because I saw the link and I was like, they actually have really good clothing. And do you have like a code or anything associated with them?
Yeah, well, my link tree on Instagram, honestly, if you guys just wanted to link that one, that has all of my codes for everything. So
easy money. We'll make sure to link to Instagram. Make sure to go check out her link tree. Sorry, I didn't mean to tail off into that. But anyways, so like obviously social media, like it took off for you. And like you're talking about how like you're literally just a natural born stud, this genetic freak. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, honestly. Mm-hmm. Like there's got to be something within here because obviously you put in a lot of work and the physique definitely shows that too. And the weights show that as well. But I was curious, obviously we're all aligned through social media first and foremost. Like that's how this even happened in the first place. And so like, at least on the male side of things, I know like it's a lot of confidence issues and that's why a lot of people don't post initially. So like when did you first start to kind of post on social media and like, did you ever have any like, I'm not going to say backlash, but like any hesitation in terms of posting on social media and like your fitness journey?
So I actually, all of my social media, shocker, I went through a breakup and I deactivated all of my social media when I started getting serious in the gym. And then I like popped back up on social media, like in shape and a lot more confident than I was before. So then I started posting, didn't really go anywhere. Like I said before, it randomly just like blew up. I do get backlash sometimes and it's mostly like the burner accounts that like don't have any posts or any following talking about like my form and stuff and like just small little nitpicky things. And there's like some videos where like if somebody says something about my form, I take like criticism, I take it really well. But that's because I train with trainers and retired bodybuilders and stuff. So they always correct me if I'm doing something wrong. And I take it pretty well. When there's accounts that are like just being mean, I just block people. There's some days where it's like gotten to me and I'm like, this kind of makes me sad. Like they're making me look bad. Now I feel bad about myself. But then I like go to the gym the next day and I remember who I am and it's fine.
Let's go. Yo, breakups is actually something that has happened for a lot of people that we've had on the podcast and has definitely like ignited your fitness journey, so to speak. So if you're open to talk a little bit about that relationship, like you don't have to talk about like the individual, but like, like how that relationship started and kind of like, what were the bad things that happened and how that really like triggered your fitness, so to speak.
I mean, it was like all around a good relationship. It was one of those like it just didn't work out type things. Like right person, wrong time, maybe wrong person. I don't know. Yeah. But we're not friends, but like we're on good terms. He asks me for fitness advice now, so it's kind of cool. But there's nothing really triggering about it. We just didn't work out and I was sad. So I was like, I'm going to go try and pick up heavy weight. And so I tried it and I was good at it. So.
Damn. Okay. Shout out. Wow. That was actually like the happiest breakup story I think I've ever heard in my entire life. A lot of times it doesn't go that mutually. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gosh. Okay. I got you. But obviously I would just say, yeah, like we said, I mean, you've seen her fitness content, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's actually insane. And, one of the things that I wanted to touch on, cause we have some females that follow the podcast and obviously they have some questions as well too. And one thing I wanted to touch on, was just like, I think there's a lot of females that do stick with like the cardio only type of regimen. And, there's some sort of like mental barrier there that's telling them like, I really shouldn't pick up weights or, like embark in like that side of the gym even, So I know that's something that you've experienced. Even just for the females on the podcast, like listen to the podcast, kind of talk about your experience with that. Like, obviously that was where you started, but like, how did you kind of gain the confidence and courage to like get to that side of the gym, or did you even deal with that kind of stuff?
Yeah, actually, so I actually get that question a lot from because a majority of my followers are females. I get that question a lot. I always answer with the same thing. I started off as cardio. I was not confident. I was always nervous, anxious, but started to realize like we're all in the gym for the same reasons. We're all there for the same reasons. No real like lifter is gonna judge you because you're curling 10 pounds as opposed to whatever they're curling. Like no one's gonna judge you, and that's what I always tell them. Stop being so concerned with what other people are thinking and be more concerned with what you're thinking of yourself. Like if you want to gain more strength, endurance, whichever your goals are, be more concerned with that as opposed to what other people are thinking. And I know another issue that a lot of females are worried about is getting like big.
Yeah.
Which I can understand. I like it. I'm pretty, like, especially with a pump, I'm kind of big and I like that. But it really just depends on like what your goals are. But I just tell them if you don't want to get big, less weight, more reps, like keep it light. But I think the main issue is the confidence and thinking that people are judging you, because there are some people in the gym that can give you looks. Maybe it's just their face, but I just tell people everyone's there for the same reasons. No one's actually going to judge you if they're like a genuine lifter.
Mm-hmm. And like usually people, like everybody's human, so like everybody has their inner battles that they battle, especially people at the gym. Like they're in the gym for a reason. They're there to better themselves. And usually the people, like from my experiences, the people that judge you are the people that aren't like happy about themselves in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
What we've talked a lot on the podcast in the past about, major issues, especially on the mental side, that males deal with. And I think it's a totally different set of issues for females. And obviously, I know you've amassed, a really big community, and I know you get a lot of questions. Like, what are the main questions that you hear from like your audience in terms of like advice that they want or like things that they deal with?
I think, honestly, the main question I would get is, like, how do you gain the confidence to either start lifting weights or posting content? And my big thing, I make sure that my followers know I'm confident, because that's a good way to avoid people, like, trying to come at you. Like, if I'm confident, I don't care what you're going to say or how you feel about me or what you think. I do get questions about body dysmorphia, stuff like that. I have body dysmorphia. There's days where I'm like, I don't look too good, and then there's days where I'm like, I look great. It's just like back and forth. That's really it. The gym confidence and posting content. I just tell everyone, do what you want. Like, people ask me, you make me want to start posting content, like, you're so inspiring. I'm like, do it. Like, do whatever makes you happy. That's really it. Most of the questions that I get are just about workouts and tips or diet, stuff like that.
Actually, going into that, there's this female that DM'd me with a question. Let me just so like she was wondering what's a good way to see more progress, like basically breaking out of a plateau. And she said that females have good physiques mainly from genetics. So like, what do you think about that?
Okay, so I don't have, well, maybe I kind of do now. I'm shaped like this. Like, I don't have genetics. I don't have the genetics like bikini models do, but I do have the genetics. Like, if I continue to do what I'm doing now, I have the genetics to get more muscular.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with her. Genetic, like, physiques is mostly genetics for females. I didn't see, like, the way my progress went was nothing for a while and then all at once. Like, I don't know if you guys saw my post on my Instagram story the other day, and it showed my progress just within the past 2 weeks, because I'm like on a cutting diet right now, and it was like there was nothing, and then all of a sudden my core is like starting to show more. So I can agree with her when it comes to physique and females being mostly genetics, but that's just like the curvy aspect.
Yeah.
Like, thick rib cage. I don't have like hourglass figure, but if you push yourself to the point that I push myself to, you'll start to see progress. And that's the main thing. Like, it took me a long time a lot of people don't consider it a long time, but I think it's a decent amount of time. It just depends on people's opinions. It took me a while to get to where I am now. So if you just keep pushing yourself and I program myself. If you like do your research and program yourself with like a certain split and follow that to the T, and don't skip. I mean, take rest days, but like, it's all discipline. If you discipline yourself, you'll start to show progress. That's the main thing, is discipline.
Now, were you always like super strong in the gym, or like was it something that just progressed over time, or did it just happen like out of nowhere?
It definitely progressed over time, but I didn't start doing I didn't focus on compound like squat, bench, deadlift until more recently. I was more of a, I don't want to get big, and then literally it flipped like a switch, and I was like, I don't care. I want to get big, I want to be strong. So I used probably a year ago, April? A year ago, I was like a little thicker in the stomach, curling probably 15-pound dumbbells, squatting with a Smith's machine in Planet Fitness. Nothing wrong with that for those who squat with Smith's machines, but I was not strong. I wasn't strong at all, and I didn't want to train to get strong. And then slowly started working my way up, and since 2022 started was when the weights started increasing. Was when I started to realize, okay, I can do this. I'm going to start benching. I can bench 135 pounds for reps. That's cool. When did that happen? That happened last month. So
oh, my bad. Keep going.
At once.
Okay. So obviously, we've seen your content. You're obviously a hard worker now, but what barriers did you have to overcome to get to the point where you are now? So in terms of pushing yourself to pushing yourself harder than you did before.
So I actually struggled with eating. I'm gonna be open about it. I had an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't eat at all, especially towards when I first went through my breakup. I was like skin and bones almost. It was unhealthy. It was gross. I'd visit my mom and she'd be like, "Are you eating?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm eating." I was not eating. My hair would fall out. I was very small. I mentally was just not there. Physically was not there either. So that was probably the biggest barrier. Even now, when I started increasing my protein intake, I would be sick. There's certain foods that I can't eat, like red meat I can't eat. I have an iron deficiency now. It's all little barriers like that I had to overcome. I figured out ways to increase my protein intake without feeling like I need to throw up, which is good. So I guess those are probably the biggest barriers that I had to overcome to get to where I am now.
And so is that kind of I know you talked about a few things when you were talking about what people ask you, body dysmorphia was one thing that you said you deal with. And is that obviously that was a prime factor. But is that the experience of your body dysmorphia in essence, just the eating disorder side, or what other aspects of body dysmorphia because of that did you experience?
When I started, yes, the eating aspect, prior, I was saying before, I used to train to be skinny. So I would just do cardio and I would do abs thinking it would do anything for me. And I wanted to be small. I didn't like how I looked. I wanted to be small. So I got really tiny. And then I was I looked unhealthy and gross and I felt unhealthy. And then I started to get bigger in a good way. It was all muscle mass. I think I'm 16% body fat.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Shout out.
Average for women is 18 to 28, so I'm content with it. But, so once I started to gain mass, I was I don't know if I like this. And then I started to fall back into my, you need to eat less thing. And then it was a mental struggle. Do I eat less? Do I eat more? If I eat less, I'm not going to lift as heavy. If I eat more, I'm going to keep getting bigger. But where I'm at now, I started tracking my macros, which I don't really recommend to people getting started in the gym. I don't recommend it because it's mentally struggling, especially if you struggled with an eating disorder. I have a lot of followers ask me about that too. Like, I don't want to fall back into my eating disorder. Do you recommend tracking macros? I say no. I think I'm mentally strong enough now to handle it, and I've seen a lot of progress since I started tracking my macros. So it's definitely helped me with the whole body dysmorphia aspect, because now I like how I look now. There's still some times where I don't, but there's most times I'm like, okay, I look good. It's working. Whatever I'm doing is working. So.
And I think you've touched on it a little bit. And one thing I think you embody in a word would be like confidence, right? And that's something you've acquired over time. But like, where do you think your confidence really comes from? Because I know there's a lot of females. I mean, everybody honestly that deals with confidence issues. But I mean, that's a prime thing that everybody needs. They need to be confident in themselves. So like, so for you, where does that come from?
I kind of had to force myself to be confident. In all honesty, I wasn't. I think I started to gain more confidence when people asked me, like, like I said before, the girls that I work out with, they own my gym. They're retired bodybuilders. They're trainers, amazing people. They taught me everything that I know. And they were impressed by me. And I think that was when I started to feel a little more confident. And then I had other gyms in the area like reach out to me, like wanting me to come visit and stuff, like powerlifting gyms. I don't really want to be a power lifter. It's fun. I dabbled in it a little bit, but I think when people started telling me like, hey, you're doing really good, not that you should rely on other people to be confident, but it helps.
Yeah.
People started telling me like, hey, you're doing pretty good. Like you're 135 pounds benching your body weight. Like that's pretty good. And I'm like, maybe I should be more confident. Maybe I shouldn't think I'm weak compared to the 200-pound guy over there. Like, so I think I acquired it over time, definitely, but I didn't do it alone. I forced myself to be more confident, and it was because of people in my ears telling me, like, hey, you credit yourself. You're doing good.
So obviously from your experience, you know, the way that you gain confidence is obviously forcing yourself, but also like listening to the real opinions of other people that come from a place of confidence, right? So I guess my question now is like, what advice do you have to, especially the females out there that do struggle with like the confidence issues? Like what are steps they can take to, you know, like it's like you acquired confidence. So like, what would you recommend? I'm not saying like take your exact path, but like, you know, tips or tricks that you'd recommend to people to gain confidence.
I don't want to say manifestation because that's not the right word, but I can't think of the word. Telling yourself, like, what is it called? When you tell yourself things, I guess it's kind of manifestation.
It's literally like speaking things into existence is what I like to call it. But like, yeah, it's manifestation. Exactly.
Okay. I guess, yeah. Like just keep like reminding your daily affirmations. Those are the words. Daily affirmations. Telling yourself like, hey, you're doing good. You know, constantly like you're pushing yourself and that's all that matters. It doesn't happen overnight. Again, I said before I struggled with like mental health as well. That was like, I have like anxiety and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people nowadays do, especially like gym anxiety. I get questions about that too. I think really just reminding yourself you're doing better than you were yesterday. One of my friends actually told me recently, today is the first day of the rest of your life, which is a good one. Like if you keep reminding yourself like, hey, good morning, you woke up, today's the first day of your rest of your life, like make the best of it, you're doing good, make your bed in the morning. That's a good step too, to start feeling like you're doing something right, is making your bed in the morning. I started doing that right after my breakup. I started making my bed every morning, and I'd come home and I'd be like, well, if everything else went wrong in the day, at least I made my bed. So That's a good one too.
It's funny. It's like your overall hygiene though. Like I know a lot of times I think about myself personally, like I'm just gonna be honest about it. Like when I'm in my like really bad places, like I don't take care of myself like I really should. And I think we can all relate to that of like, you know, you don't make your bed. Like honestly, just even your overall personal hygiene sometimes goes down. Like that's literally everybody, you know? So it's like those little steps are a really good start to gaining confidence. I was curious, do you have any other like, I don't want to call them like, I guess like quirks that you do to like gain confidence. Like I know some people, like we talked to a guy on literally the podcast before this. He used to like voice memo in the moment, like what he was feeling. And it would help him kind of like just regain composure and things like that. I know other people sometimes will like journal in the morning or whatever. I know for you, one of them is like daily affirmations, but like, is there anything else like that that you do on a regular basis?
Not really. I mean, I guess does progress pics count? Like I take pictures every morning in the mirror to see like throughout the weeks, the progress that I've made. And I think that definitely helped because I went from, you know, being super tiny to being kind of big to being more cut. So I think that's a good way to help realize that what you're doing is actually working, even if it's not all like right away.
How was it initially because obviously I know you battled with confidence issues in the past, although now being a confident person, how was it when you first started doing progress pictures? I know for myself, like, I mean, both of us have had like huge fat to fit transformations. And like when you first start, it's so hard, like just being honest with yourself like that. So like, what was your experience when you first started doing that?
When I first started doing it, I hated the way I looked. Cause I was saying before, I don't have like a figure really. I'm kind of built like a girl that works out. And I still do that sometimes too. Like guys would be like, you have big shoulders. And I'm like, thanks. Like, yeah. But when I first started taking pictures, I was like, I had a little bit of tummy. I was a little bloated consistently. I was very square. I wasn't defined like anywhere really. And it wasn't a fun thing to look at, fun sight to like look at myself in the mirror at all. And over time, it got easier. Obviously, I started seeing more progress, and it's getting easier every day. Still hard sometimes, but it gets better.
Gosh, you're such a stud. Like you're just hearing some of the stuff now, like yeah, I mean, I've talked to a lot of females in the gym. I used to work at like a local supplement shop, and it was kind of like we would like go to gyms and we would like set up tables and hand out samples. So I was like super involved with the local fitness community. I got a chance to like talk to a lot of people, and like you don't find a lot of people that have experienced the growth that you have in your fitness. So like I think you speak well beyond your years when you talk about some of the things that you do. And like, you definitely have like a voice in this fitness community, right? Because of that. So I was curious, like, who is your audience? Like when you post this content, like is there anybody in particular that you're trying to like speak to?
I think it would depend on the videos. So on my TikTok, I try to post like relatable content for other women. I mean, guys can relate to my stuff too. Most of the time they don't, because like I actually received a comment like 2 days ago that said, I wish this was a guy. Like, this is a dope video, but I wish it was a guy instead. And everyone, why? And he was like, well, I can't really relate because it's a girl. And I was like, I replied and I said, if we're experiencing the same thing, why can't you relate? And then he got all apologetic and stuff, and it was whatever. And he had followed me, told me he was sorry. He didn't mean to come off in a bad way. And I was like, it's completely fine. I was like, it doesn't bother me. I get comments all the time. It doesn't bother me. But I think on TikTok, I mostly target other women that are trying to get started in the gym and trying to gain their confidence. Instagram, I feel like is more like, I just post my workouts to post them, and I feel like that can go for anyone. But I still think mostly women, like I don't think a guy is going to take advice from me. So I think mostly women on there as well.
Now going back to the confidence thing, I know like I'm pretty good at like reading body language. So like I can see like females in the gym, they'll be like closed off and they'll just be looking down at their phone or whatever, like almost like if they're intimidated from the gym, like they're scared to like go to the free weight section. Like what advice would you have for those females?
I dance in the gym. I used to be like quiet, like that, shy in the corner. Actually, I think good advice is to not be afraid to ask for help. I think that's the biggest like how you get into the free weight section is asking for help. I make friends. I know that's easier said than done. It's not going to happen right away, but I think to get into and do your research too. That's a good one. If you go into the gym already knowing like this is what I want to do, then you're not going to be as nervous to go into the free weight section. But I also think it all comes down to stop caring what other people are thinking and care more about what you want to do and what you're there for, and dance in the gym.
All right, that's advice I'm actually gonna take. Actually, no joke. One of my friends, he had like these new Skull Candy headphones, and sorry, I'm just gonna tail off for a second. But like, because I have these really nice headphones. Like, dude, check these out. Like, I know they're Skull Candies, but like, just trust me on this. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I put them on, and they were like bass headphones. Okay, like literally, it felt like there were 12-inch subs in the back of my car, type of shit. And I was literally dancing in the gym, and like people were just like looking at me like, who the fuck is this dude? Like, what is wrong with him? I was like, I don't care. Like, screw you, bro. This experience is like so insane. But like, it's so weird. You know, they say like, yo, you should just smile for like 30 seconds and like you'll literally be happier. Have you ever heard that before? It was almost like this. It was like the same feeling. I don't know how else to really describe it. So no, that's actually like low key, really good advice for anybody out there. Dance in the damn gym. What would you say for you? Sorry. Well, I want to dive more into your life too, but I still want to get into like the inspirational side, the motivational side, for a little bit. Like what are the benefits of the gym for you specifically?
So I'm currently studying for the NASM certified personal trainer thing. I don't really disclose this often. I'm active duty right now.
Thank you for your service.
Thanks. I never know what to say to that. Thanks.
Yes. My pleasure.
I get out in September. So I'm getting my certified personal trainer NASM cert now so I can have a job when I get out. And then I'm going to law school while doing that on the side. So that's like how it really the gym benefits me because I'm making it into a job basically. That's really, and obviously I want to look hot. So
That's valid.
Do you know who D-Trent is by any chance?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Major social media fitness influencer. He was like, he made like his parody video. It wasn't even a parody video. It was a response to like Max Taylor lifts. And it was like, fist bumps for like being healthy in the gym. He's like, no, fuck that. He's like, I'm literally in the gym so I can get juicy and like slay single moms. And it's just like, there's actually some truth to that. It's like, there are some selfish reasons for going to the gym in some regard, but like, it's not a bad thing, so to speak. But no, like, I mean, it seems like it brings a lot of balance to your life as well. Cause like you're a super stud, like going to law school, being an active military, like trying to pursue fitness as a career path. Like you need something to ground you. And to an extent, it seems like you can exert a lot of your like energy and rage into weights, which obviously you show in your videos, which are insane.
Thanks.
But here, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, unless you have any other topics you want to touch on, like the motivational side, because I want to ask you more about your life too, like who you are as a person.
Nah.
Okay, the one thing that's like stuck out to me when I was like looking through your page was your tattoos, actually. And I'm not here to like, and you could talk about it. Maybe there's like a deeper underlying message about them or whatever. But like, honestly, just tell me like the story about your tattoos. Like I have a tattoo personally. Not necessarily like meaning behind it, but like, like how I even like got that first tattoo and stuff was an interesting story. So like you have a lot. Talk about kind of like your experience with like tattoos.
I got my first one for my 17th birthday, and it's I don't know if there's any, I'm sure you can find it on my Instagram, the moon on my back, and my sister got a sun. she was 19. So that was my first tattoo. Then I went to boot camp, and I came back with, I think, 6 more after I lived in Texas for a little bit. And the rest is kind of history. I have probably like 30. But I usually get like smaller pieces at a time. Like the one I got one today on my back. It's on my Instagram. It says icon. But I usually just get smaller ones. Like my guy here in Virginia Beach, I'll just show up on a Saturday and be like, hey, I'll be like, hey, are you busy? No? Okay, give me something. And that's really it. There's really no history to it. Some of them have meaning. Like the butterflies on my stomach are for my grandma who passed away. I have my mom's signature, stuff like that. But most of them are just traditional tattoos.
One of my homeboys, he's a big tattoo fanatic, and he literally goes like even once a month just to get touch-ups, let alone like the new pieces that he gets. So is it like is it just like an obsession for you? I not in a bad way, but like it's like you fall in love with the needle, I think is what they say. So like is that what it is for you then?
Yeah, I think I just like the way they look. I think they kind of make me look better. But yeah, I mean, they don't really, some of them hurt, some of them don't. I kind of just get them to get them. I guess it would be an obsession. Yeah, I got 4 in one sitting last month. So
Bro, that's insane. Girls like pain thresholds are like actually blows my mind. Like I don't know how you can do that. Just sit in a chair for like hours and just get tatted up. My gosh. And is it kind of like a feel good for you then, so to speak? Like, I don't want to say like feel better about yourself. You're like, yo, I look good. Like when I have tattoos and I have more tattoos.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely a confidence booster.
Cause I know you tan too. I know you do. Is that another one for you?
Well, I'm Spanish, so I'm naturally darker, but I do tan sometimes. Yeah. And it's definitely makes me feel prettier.
I was gonna say we have a homeboy. Well, I used to work at Planet Fitness. Funny enough, now that you mentioned that, so like I had full access to the tanning beds, and I would abuse it. Like literally, I was going I would work at 6 a.m. and I would literally go there before I worked just to go tanning because it's such a feel good. And it is though, and also we solidified that it adds 3 points to your physique like automatically. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, fair enough. No, sorry. I just want to ask about that, because your tattoos are like insane, and like it does complement the physique really well. And also like the gym drip is also on point. That is something that I think anybody can appreciate. Shoot, I had another question for you. It was, one thing that I wanted to dive into, because this is something I think some guys can relate to this, but not a lot. But I think girls, on the other hand, relate to this like a fuck ton. And honestly, I know you have a huge social media presence, like on TikTok, on Instagram, and I know you get a lot of messages. If you're open to it, like talk about kind of like the bad side of it, because I'll just say like, my girl, like she literally, I've seen her DMs. Like she has like 80 DMs from like just disgusting humans. You know what I'm saying? Like there are good ones, don't get me wrong, but like that side of things, like how do you manage that? Like how do you handle that? And like what's your experience been with that?
So I do get a lot of DMs. Most of the time they're good. More recently, I've been dealing, because I started getting more exposure, especially in my local area. So more recently, I've been dealing with people like finding my social medias, and I have like my gym tags, like where I go and stuff, to promote them, so people know where I work out. So I get some DMs that are like definitely inappropriate, but they try to. It's like almost like subtle, like subtly being gross. They'll say like, "Hey, you're doing great. Like you look good." And then I'll be like, thank you, because I reply to everyone normally when it seems innocent. And then they'll just say some like gross stuff. And I'm like, okay. So I'll usually, if it's depending on the extent of what they're saying, or if they won't leave me alone, or if they're getting obsessive, I'll block or I'll just restrict their account. I have gotten a message of somebody like kind of pretending he knew my owners of my gym to try and gain like access to me, which was a lot because he lives in the area. So I ended up just like removing him, and I told them about him, and they were like, he knows who we are, but we don't know him like personally. Like, that's weird. And I was like, yeah, it's a little weird. So I just like blocked him. Normally that's like my go-to. If it's like really bad and pushy, I'll just block somebody because it's at the end of the day, it's one follower, like whatever.
Right. This is my question now, because I am curious. What is like the worst encounter that you've ever had? Like, either whether it be on social media or whether it be somebody, because I know you said you like geotag stuff, like whether it be in person, like what's the worst encounter that you've ever had? It may not be that bad, but I'm just curious.
I was leaving the gym, and there was a guy standing outside the gym. I don't think he didn't know who I was or anything, like through social media, but he was standing outside of the gym, and he saw what I was wearing, which it was a few weeks ago. I posted pictures on Instagram. It's the light blue shorts, the black t-shirt. I think I had it like tucked in the back.
You fucked yourself. I'm telling you, you just fucked yourself from Instagram doing that. No,
But I posted it on Instagram, like that was the outfit that I was wearing, and it was some guy, some older dude that like loiters around in the plaza of our gym, and he was like saying like, damn girl, like damn, and I was like, whatever, this is nothing new, I'm just gonna keep walking. And then he said, don't wear it that tight if you don't want us to look. And I got in my car and I called my mom and I cried. That was probably like the worst. Like I was like, because that's like the type of guy that's like, she asked for it because of what she was wearing, and that was a lot for me. So I just like broke down after that, because that's a gross thing to say, and it's a weird thing to experience. So that's probably off the top of my head that I can think of is like one of the worst encounters.
Yeah, I was thinking about that concept of like when dudes say that, because I have an opinion on that, of like, they're like, oh, you shouldn't wear that if you don't want to be talked to, or if you don't want this shit to happen. Like, that's so fucked up. Like, so you're telling me, because like for you, that's a feel good though, right? Like, you get to show off the physique for yourself, right? Like, nobody else matters. Like, it's just you. And to have somebody like degrade you like that basically makes you feel like you can't do that. And that's a feel good for you, you know? So it's literally taking that away from you. And now every time you go to the gym, you're going to be self-conscious, or the gym drip's not going to be there, or you're going to, put on more clothing or whatever. And like, you just don't feel as good. So it's almost like, I call it almost like invading your rights. Like, you should have the right to be able to do that without some fucking bum ass old dude actually like saying some shit like that, because I've heard multiple stories of that severity, and I mean it's always so traumatic to hear, but like at the end of the day, it's on them, it's not on you. And I am sorry to hear about that too, like that scenario. But hey, just know things are gonna get a lot better. And then like we talked about in the previous podcast about haters on like social media, right? Like you have 90,000 fans rooting for you right now, right? And to just have that one person be mean and ruin your day is so messed up. It's like I equated it to like you being a Division I athlete almost, right? Like, you're on the football field, you have 90,000 people rooting for you, and then you just have one dude that's like booing you, and you're gonna like listen to that dude. It's like, come on, like you have a whole other crowd that's like listening to you. So yeah, no, sorry, that was just kind of like a spin-off there. But what was I going to ask about? I know that's something you don't talk about too much in terms of like your active duty and stuff like that. But I was curious about that too, because obviously you've gotten an experience to be able to like travel around and stuff like that. So, I mean, how did that conspire for you initially?
I kind of wanted to like not run away from home, but kind of run away from home. It was like, I don't want to be here anymore. I need to just get out. I need to go away, and I'm the only one in my family that like up and like moved away. I was 17 when I joined. I turned 18 the week before I graduated boot camp. Went to Texas, ended up getting stationed 45 minutes from my hometown for a little while, and then one day they called me and they were like, hey, we need you in Virginia. Moved to Virginia, and now I'm here. I was ready to do it People, like, I don't like it. I hate it, and I'm ready to get out. I got free school out of it, which is cool, but that's, like, the only benefit to it, to me. Some people love it. I don't. But, yeah, it was kind of just, like, a spontaneous choice. Like, I need to get out of here. I'm going to join the military. So that's what I did.
Was it, like, you trying to seek your own independence? Because where are you from, by the way, like, originally?
I'm from Florida.
Okay, got you. Because obviously you said like nobody else in your family really did that. Like, did you have aspirations to like go travel and stuff like that? And really just like at the end of the day, just like, I know you said it was spontaneous, but like just do something different from the rest.
Yeah, I think that was all it was. Like, I had scholarship offers for like cheerleading and track. And there's days where I'm like, should have done that. I should have done that. But I mean, I'm grateful for the decision that I made because I got free school. I got to go to college while getting active duty paychecks, which is cool. So, like, I'm grateful that I made the decision, but it was definitely, I just wanted to go be on my own.
Yeah, I don't like to dwell on the past too much, but like, who do you think Ashley would have been if she would have stayed in Florida and like not have like sought for bigger and better opportunities? Because obviously, like, you seem like a relatively independent individual. Like, I mean, it sounds like you're just kind of living your own life now in Virginia Beach, right? So, and like, you were able to do that because you almost like like you said, you gave yourself the confidence to go do stuff like that. Who do you think you would have been if you wouldn't have taken those kind of opportunities?
Maybe in school, maybe partying way too much. I don't know. I'm working at a restaurant. Probably. I worked at a restaurant before. I maybe would have gone to school. Maybe, but I don't know. Probably. I'm from like my town. I'm from a little town, and I almost call it like a black hole. Like, you either get stuck there and die there, or you get out. So.
Okay.
You know.
So I'm kind of curious, what are your long-term fitness goals?
Right now, I think I said this before. I consider myself a power builder. Did I say that before? Because I like to be strong, but I also care a lot about my physique. So I don't plan on competing. So that's not really a goal. I probably could, and gyms here want me to. So I might do that in the future. But really, as for long-term fitness goals, I just want to make a career out of it, like kind of on the side, because I'm going to law school, so I have that too. But I do want to get into business law, so then maybe one day I can run a business that has to do with gyms or fitness, something along those lines. And I'm also visiting Houston, actually. I'm visiting my friends there. So we'll see what happens when I go there.
You going to Alphaland?
We'll see. But yeah, as of right now, I think I don't really have any long-term fitness goals other than getting my certified personal trainer stuff and working at a gym.
I mean, you should definitely consider hopping on stage, though. You would look sick. You should definitely consider hopping on stage, though, at least once.
Maybe.
I mean, you'd look sick.
The people that want me to compete want me to power lift. So, and I don't really want to do that.
Okay, so we talked about long-term fitness goals. What are your long-term like life goals outside of fitness?
To be a lawyer and keep doing what I'm doing, I guess. Where I'm at now, I've started to turn, like, my dreams like aren't dreams anymore. They're like real. I'm like living them. Everything is like falling into place and everything's going my way, which because I spoke it all into existence and I put in the work. So right now, I don't know, buy a house maybe, like, because everything is working in my favor now, which is because that never happens to me. So be a lawyer, I guess, finish school. I graduated with my bachelor's this year. So.
Congrats. That's awesome. I mean, like, hey, here's the thing. So I actually just graduated from university last May. And, I had aspirations of like, doing things in a professional setting, but like, yeah, as you come to find out, the more you start to work on your dreams, the more they become a reality as well. And I mean, long term for you, you know, you've amassed a really good community so far. This community might get to the point where like that becomes your full-time job, right? And so you just have to be willing and open for that opportunity if it does cross your path. Because like, honestly, even just like hearing you out now and like seeing your content, like that's a real reality for you. If you don't realize that yet, like coming from an outside perspective, like it's definitely going to happen. Like you're going to get that opportunity at some point if you keep going down the path that you're going right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. No, I mean, that's why we had you on the podcast. We have you on the podcast. Come on. You're a super stud. Like what were we supposed to do, you know? Hey, you talked about you were going to go to Houston. I know he asked the question, but like, are you going to go to Alpha Land? What are you going to do?
Yeah, so one of my friends actually, I post her on my Instagram story all the time. Her name's Ashley. Her and I are like really close, and she lives out there, and she works vicariously through social media as a fitness influencer, and she goes to Alpha Land. So yeah, I'm gonna go there I'm going in June for a few days. Definitely gonna check out Alpha Land itself.
We have a homie that's been on the podcast before a few times actually, and he's down there right now. I mean, do you follow like Alpha Lee or Alpha Land like in any capacity, like any of the individuals from there at all, or like the brands or anything?
Yeah, some of them like through her, like some of her friends I follow.
So like, I mean, it's like some of the big dogs, like, I mean, Christian Guzman's the one that started the place, obviously, but like Max Tuning's his name. He's kind of been one that's like been a part of that journey with him. He literally like got a picture with him and stuff, and like a bunch of other people. Like the networking opportunities there are actually pretty insane. Like it's nice to be able to, you know, because funny, I don't know if you know this, we're actually from Indiana, by the way. So we're in like bumfuck nowhere. Like the networking opportunities you have in those places are awesome, but there's also something to be said about just going on your own independent grind. And I feel like right now that's kind of where you're at, like being in Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got you. Yeah. What are you doing right now in terms of like occupation outside of like, you know, getting your like NASM cert? Like, are you doing anything to just kind of like get you by right now?
Like being in Navy?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Man. My gosh, I'm stupid. Gosh,
Yeah,
that's actually insane.
I go to work, I go to the gym, do my homework, eat, sleep, repeat. So.
My gosh. Do you usually just kind of like keep to yourself, or do you actually try to like socialize and like have you tried to like build a network of friends while you've been out there?
Yeah, so I have a lot of friends. I still do. I don't encourage people to like not drink if you're trying to be in shape, but I don't really drink much anymore. And a lot of my friends do, which I'll still hang out with them. I just don't drink, but I don't really go out anymore. Most of my friends are gym people. And ever since I started to get more exposure in this area, a majority of my friends are like other people from other gyms also in this area. So I still have I socialize a lot in that aspect, but I really do I think the gym people say is that your only personality? And I'm like,
literally, no joke, in the comment section of one of our fucking reels, literally somebody commented that to Eliaz. They're like, is your only personality fitness? And it's like, is that a bad thing?
I lashed out though.
Yeah, and he lashed out. He's like, yo, screw you, bro.
There's worse things.
No, there's definitely worse vices. And I always think about this. I've got an opportunity to go to a lot of different fitness facilities and stuff, and each one is its own little community, right? And unfortunately, there's social hierarchy, and there's other bad things to being in that community. Obviously, a lot of good things, right? You've made a lot of valuable relationships. What do you view the toxic side of the community? Is there anything that sticks out to you of is not good in terms of fitness community?
So I think a lot of people in the fitness community, I'm sure you guys can attest to this, make jokes about having big egos and stuff, and I think a part of that is a lot of us are joking. I joke about it. I joke about having a big ego when really I'm just confident. I know I'm confident, but I'm not going to go up to somebody and be like, I'm stronger than you. But I think there is a toxic side to it where a lot of people think that they're better than everyone else just because they lift weights or because they lift heavier. And that's probably a big toxic part of it. Another toxic part is, I don't want to say tracking macros, but some people take it to an extent where it can get unhealthy.
Yeah.
And they'll promote it as if it's a good thing. When really, it's like there's 15-year-olds that follow you, and you're telling them to do this and that, and they're going to get unhealthy, and they just want to look like you, and it's not going to work the same for them because their body's just still growing, and that can also be an unhealthy aspect as well. It all has to be in moderation. Like, you can joke about having a big ego, but be nice about it, and you can track your macros, but don't develop an eating disorder. So those are probably the two main things that could be toxic in the fitness community, in my opinion.
I think another toxic part is like people compare themselves to people who have been in the industry for like a long time. So like, I know I've struggled with it in the past, and I know I get a lot of it like on my comments. People would be like, I'm trying to get like you, but like at the end of the day, you got to put in the work for yourself and like push yourself to the limits to see what you're truly capable of.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one too.
How, because it all comes down to comparison, right? I think that's where a lot of people fall victim. And I think we're all victim to it at some point, right? But, you know, the people that excel in fitness tend to steer away from that comparison, at least to other people more than others that do not succeed. And obviously for you, I mean, you do a good job of kind of staying in your own lane and like, you know, just working on yourself. How do you yourself try to avoid comparison? Whether it be in the gym, whether it be on social media, like anything in that realm in regard to comparison?
So I struggled with comparing myself to people. Sometimes I still do. I can't think of their names off the top of my head, but I'm sure if I showed you guys other women, you'd know who they are. But I used to compare myself to them a lot, but I think the way I avoid comparing my bodies to their bodies now is I train to look the way I literally train to look this way. I don't train to look like them. So like, instead of training to be skinny and wanting to be smaller, I train to look the way that I look now, and I'm happy with that. So when I see like smaller girls in the gym that have really nice bodies and they're like have good figures, I'm like, they look good, but I like the way I look. I don't need to look like that. So that's probably how I veer away towards it, because I know that I'm training differently, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, okay, I'll just say like there's like such a beauty standard for females, like as compared to males. I don't know if you even agree with that or not, but like, I guess my question is like, I'm trying to think of it. It's kind of just like, why do you believe that females fall more victim to comparison than males? I mean, I would say we all do, but I think there's just more pressure on the female side for these beauty standards, if that makes sense.
So it's actually, I'm a psychology major.
Educate us, please.
It's about objectification. Women are objectified. Self-objectification is also a thing. We objectify ourselves because that's the social norm. So that's why we have beauty standards for ourselves. That's why other people have beauty standards for us, because naturally women are objectified. And I'm not saying like you guys are going to look at me and be like, oh, she's just a piece of meat, she needs to look this way. Like, it's not like that. It's just like all throughout history, women have been objectified. That's why we're like more insecure and feel that we need to look a certain way to please other people, as opposed to just caring about ourselves and how we want to look. So I think that's like the main issue. So it's getting better over time. Like we're gaining more confidence. You know, it's 2022. Like I always say, like as a joke, women are like the superior ones now, which a joke. Don't cancel me.
Okay, honestly though, I was literally going to agree with that, because it's like, in terms of like the challenges, trials and tribulations that females actually deal with, especially in like the female spectrum, like I would say the amount of problems for each individual gender is the same, but like the severity of those problems varies. And I really do believe for females, like beauty standard and comparison is such a bigger issue at hand. And like, honestly, for you, I just commend you. I know it shows how strong you are, because like you've been able to overcome those things. Like, you know, I mean, we've all had like our journeys and like things that we battled through, but I really do view that as like one of the hardest things to actually be able to get over. So like, just like seriously, like kudos to you. Like you're setting like such a shining example. Yeah, no, that's what I got. Speak the big words. Yo, do you have any other like pressing topics that you actually want to like touch on?
Eat your protein.
Eat your protein.
Yes, I agree with that. Yep.
I don't think so.
What is kind of like the diet for Ashley consist of?
The diet?
Yes, ma'am.
Protein coffee in the morning, Celsius. I want Celsius to sponsor me so bad. I drink them religiously. I tag them in everything. Let's see. Really, so I try to incorporate protein to everything. I haven't been doing too good with my diet. I don't really want to talk. Like, I've been eating healthy, but I haven't been eating enough, which is my issue. Turkey and chicken is the only meat that I eat. Can't eat red meat for the life of me. I will throw. Lettuce, rice. Like, it's like, really, I just eat anything healthy that I can eat that's within the calorie count. And Fairlife milk.
Fairlife.
I drink religiously. I drink that as well. That's really it. And protein ice cream sometimes.
Those are some epic staples in the diet. I mean, anybody that's successful, honestly, it's literally the same shit, just like a different day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think we all pretty familiar with those things. So, okay. No, I was just curious.
Right.
Yo, do you have any other topics you want to touch on?
I mean, are we like done with like the inspirational and like? You think? All right. I'm curious. I know probably a lot of guys are. Is there a place for men approaching women in the gym? And if there is, when should they do it?
I think. Okay, obviously not during a set. I think it's okay for men to approach you. But not the older men. Like, I feel like I don't like when older men approach me. But if like a guy my age was like, hey, and wanted to come up to me like, you're cute, I'd be okay with it if it wasn't during a set and if it wasn't like creepy. It's hard. I feel like it really depends on the situation. Like, I don't know. I mean, if I'm not in the middle of a set and if I don't have, like, if I can hear him and he doesn't touch me, like, don't touch me. I've had a guy tap me before, like, on my leg, and I was just like, see, you ruined it before you even had a word come out of your mouth. So probably just, like, not during a set is really the only time I would say it's okay, and just don't be weird about it, I guess.
Yo.
And don't be the age of my father.
All right, here's my question. What advice do you have for dudes trying to pick up girls in the gym? I had to ask. I was like, yo, fuck it.
Don't as like an egotistical, narcissistic gym bro, and just be nice. Actually, I would say start off like trying to be like friends. Like ask a girl to be your spot. You know, like, can you come spot me real quick? And go from there. Maybe you'll make friends after that, and then hit it off. That's a good strategy.
Build loyalty and trust first through small contact, and then increase that contact over time. Okay, I like that. Yeah. Any other? Dang it, we were trying to ask the audience for more questions. We didn't have enough time to ask them. We were gonna have like a whole like pool full of questions for you, just like rapid fire. But do you have any others off the top of your head? Yeah. Okay. So we have our wrap up questions for you. Okay. I got two for you, and then he's gonna finish it off. So the first one is gonna be, especially since you're a female. Oh my gosh, please please give us some recommendations here. For the next podcast, if you were to listen, who would you want to hear? Like a different, like somebody else. Like who would you want to hear next on the podcast?
Steve-Bum. I'm just kidding.
I wish.
I give up. All right. No.
Okay, that'd be cool. Like a female or a male?
Honestly, if you had a female in mind, like we'd appreciate it because we will we literally take that feedback into consideration. We really try to get these people like on the podcast too. Did you have a good experience, by the way?
I did. Yeah,
okay.
I was really nervous,
but now you're not, eh? It was easy. It wasn't that bad.
I don't know. This is gonna sound so bad, but I don't really follow many people on social media that aren't local to my area. I can think of one because I follow some. I just don't know their names. I could probably text you guys. I'll think of one and text it to you because I can't think of one right now.
Yo, just send us a hit list after this, even on IG. It doesn't matter. Like, we just want to hear some people because we do want to bring them on. But hey, we'll get that squared away. My last question for you before we get to the very last question is going to be, I want to give you, both of us on the InspoCast, we want to give you a platform to talk to your audience, like whoever that is, whether it be your social media following, like Instagram, just people that resonate with your message, just like something that like embodies you, just like an overarching message that you want to tell to the audience, to your audience.
Like a motivational thing.
Yes.
Keep doing what you're doing. Credit yourself. Push for the confidence that you've been trying to get. Don't quit. Eat your protein. Drink your Fairlife. And PR. That's really all I tell my followers. Do what you gotta do. And don't stop.
Wise words from an absolute stud. I do love to hear that. All right.
So last question. So for the real people that made it to the end of the video, give them something to like comment in the comment section below.
Ask a question and have them answer it in the comment section below.
Just a word. Just honestly, it doesn't even matter. It could be even something random. But like for the real ones, just so we know that they made it this far, because I know they did. What do they need to comment in the comment section?
Just anything?
Anything.
I don't know. That's so random.
It is. It's like one of our quirks on the podcast.
Trend.
Oh, hashtag trend in the comment section below. All lowercase. Spam it. Throw the engagement down. We love to see it. All right. Closing remarks here. We are going to throw all of the social media handles for Ashley. Thank you so much for coming on, by the way. This is like, I think it was all of us were nerve-wracked. So it went a lot better than expected. Not to put it like that. We knew it was going to be good. But thank you so much for coming on. We're going to make sure to put your TikTok, Instagram, any codes down below in the description. Anything else that you want us to plug for you? Any other shout-outs that you want to give?
No, that's all I have.
Okay.
Fire.
And make sure to follow the InspoCast. We actually just published our website earlier this week, so make sure to go check out our website. It has the catalog of all of our posts on there. It has a little about section about how this page started. That's all our up-to-date news. It's going to have all of our social media links. Make sure to go check out Instagram. We have all of our reels popping on there. There's going to be some awesome highlight clips from this episode. I already know it. Female guest, you finally got what you wanted. Yes. On top of that, check out TikTok. Make sure to check out YouTube stories. Turn on post notifications. Make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe. But that is all I have. That's it. Any last words from anybody?
Thanks for having me.
Gosh, you're a freaking angel. I appreciate you. That is going to, unless you got something else.
Nah.
That is going to conclude episode 16 of the InspoCast. Thank y'all for tuning in. And we will catch you in the next one. Peace.